Hello, everybody. It is comment response time. Here we are. Welcome back to Finian Polygraph Services, fair, independent, and unbiased verifiers of the truth right here in Texas. And as you all know, every once in a while I get some questions or comments on my videos, and well, this is the way I feel comfortable about answering them. So let's get on with it, shall we? On the video comment response inconclusive polygraph results, Ezio Auditore, by the way, Ezio, good to meet you. We'll get this done so you can get back to your Templar hunting. Yeah, I just totally gave myself away as a gaming geek there, right? Big fan of that series. Big fan of Assassin's Creed. Anyway, Ezio asks, what if the question being asked in itself is causing stress? Well, my answer is a question also. What's causing stress about the question that you had problems with? Go ahead, sit down at your kitchen table with a notebook, write out the question that you were having problem with, because I don't know what that question is, so could be maybe drugs, maybe criminal activity, maybe employment history. I don't know what the question's about. Write out that question on a piece of notebook paper, and then below that, write down what is it about this question that's causing me stress. Now, the primary answer would be, well, maybe I did something. Maybe you are. Maybe you're lying about drugs. Maybe you're lying about criminal activity. Maybe you left a past employment off because it did not end well. I don't know. Only you know. Only you know. Once you write down what the question that's causing stress and then why it's causing you stress, then you'll have a better idea of how to approach the solution. Okay? Because the solution is X. We solve for X, right? Well, before you can solve for X, you got to know why. Get it? Before you can solve for X, you have to know the variable. And in most cases, the variable is Y. It's just that simple. You can solve this problem yourself. I'm glad you still came to me. But really, you can solve this problem yourself. Just follow me, okay? I'll get to the ending. Moving on. I had a federal pre-employment polygraph that ended in inconclusive because of the nervousness. Well, first of all, these federal guys, they can make you nervous, can't they? And then when you got a question that's causing you nervousness for a reason, it just further complicates things. Those federal polygraph examiners, they are cut from a different cloth. But nonetheless, you've still nailed it. You still sat there and you're acknowledging the results of your test is coming from nervousness. Okay? Moving on, I can confidently say it's because of the fear of failing that I'm not producing a clear image. Boy, no truer words can be said. There's actually polygraph terminology that, at least in how it was taught to me in polygraph school back in the day, called psychological set. And basically what psychological set in a nutshell means, the question that you are the most afraid of is the question that you will physiologically and psychologically react to the most. So if there was one question on that test, and obviously there was, because I'm reading in between the lines here, what if the question asked in itself is causing stress? Well, I mean, your whole comment is just a confirmation of psychological set. The question that you're the most afraid of is the question that's going to cause the most problems for you. Okay? So that's why. Now you know why. Okay? And once you finish your little exercise of writing the question down, then writing what's causing you that stress, boom. Now you know why. You nailed it. Now let's move on to the solution, because at the end of the comment you ask, what can I do to make myself less nervous? Answer's simple, dude. Tell the truth. Just give it over. Just vomit it up already. Just cough it up. Okay? Because it's not going to go away. You think it's going to go away, but I promise you, unless the issue is addressed, it is not going to go away. The key to passing a pre-employment polygraph is honesty until it hurts. Bleed out everything to a point of exhaustion if you have to. Bleed everything out. Because I'll tell you, a polygraph examiner, if it's something that you don't need to be worried, polygraph examiner will just sit there and say, you know what, don't worry about it. You've told me, you've discussed it with me, bang, don't worry about it. I'm telling you that it's okay. Anything that does matter, let's say if the question's about drugs and you say, yeah, okay, I've been doing a little bit of drugs until, 5-10 years ago, I don't know. Just go ahead and say it. And then what the polygraph examiner is going to do is he says, other than what you've disclosed to me, have you done more drugs than you've told me about? Boom. The question's been customized for that admission. Now there's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be nervous about. There's nothing to be stressed out about. Why? Because you told them the truth. Polygraph works because people that lie are afraid of the consequences of the truth or afraid of being caught in a lie. That's one of the reasons why polygraph works. There are lots of little catchphrases, there's lots of terminology, there's lots of nomenclature. Oh, it's cognitive pull, it's salience, it's psychological set. You know what? What it all comes right on down to is, if you're scared of the question because you're lying to it, then you're remembering what you've done. Okay, you're remembering it. Okay, you practically, I'm sure that while you're writing out that, you're remembering that day or that moment. You remember who you were with when you smoked the marijuana. You're remembering who you were with, I don't know, when you took that hit of crack out of curiosity. You remember who you were with if you stole the wheels off that guy's car. You remember why you got fired if what you're doing is withholding a previous employment. You remember all this, and because you remember all this, you become nervous about the question that you're lying to or you're withholding information from. And then that memory will cause you to fear being caught in a lie. That is exactly why polygraph works, boys and girls. That's no secret that's out there. It's common knowledge. So the trick is to be totally honest. That way there's nothing to be afraid of. You've unburdened your soul. And before you say, well, that doesn't make any sense, that seems counterintuitive to let somebody know that you've done something wrong inside of your past, you're wrong. The things that you say during that pre-test interview and during that polygraph might not disqualify you from that position. What will disqualify you from that position is if you lie or you withhold information and it causes a deceptive or an inconclusive result. Because deceptive and inconclusive results can follow you around in this type of thing. Okay, agencies talk to one another. Okay, so the next polygraph you have, that polygraph examiner is probably going to know that you've come up inconclusive on a polygraph in the past. And if they're at all a decent polygraph examiner, they're going to ask you, what the hell happened? Tell them. Tell them. Because another thing employers are looking for with these it's not just a lie detector machine. It's not just, stop even thinking about that. What they're doing is they're seeing if you're a person of good character that can admit to your own faults, that they can count on you to be honest, even when honesty hurts you. That they can count on you as a police officer, as a federal agent, or a firefighter. They can count on you that you're going to sit there and say, you know what, I fucked up. That's another reason why polygraph is there for, is to see if you are that person of good character. So SEO, my question becomes, are you a person of good character? And if you are a person of good character, please take my advice. If you're withholding something, talk about it. Not with me. Talk about it with your polygraph examiner. I want the win for you. I want the W for you. 9 times out of 10, that polygraph examiner probably wants that win too. They want that W for you. Now, am I saying that the stereotypical gotcha polygraph examiner doesn't exist? No, I would never tell you that, because they do exist. I'm not gonna lie to you. I promise. Okay. What I am saying is that 90% of polygraph examiners out there, they're rooting for you to get the W. They're rooting for you. But they can't help you unless you help them. And that's just the bottom line. So, what can you do to make yourself nervous? Stop being nervous? All you got to do is do something that seems counterintuitive and will probably be rough and will probably require you to swallow a little bit of pride. But in the end, when you get the NDI, the non-deception indicated, because you told the truth, then you're going to get the win. And really, isn't that what it's all about? Getting the win? The only way you're going to do it, dude, is by being honest, most of all, with yourself. You can do this. I know you can do this. And I understand that you might be nervous about maybe 1 or 2 things from your past. But I believe that you are a person of good character, or I want to believe that you're a person of good character at least. Be a bigger man than you think you are. Step up to the plate and say, you know what? I did some drugs. You know what? Me and my friends smashed some mailboxes when we were 16. I don't know what's causing you the stress. I don't know what's causing you the problem. I wish I did know, because that would make me a mind reader. And if I was a mind reader, I would not be in McKinney, Texas, doing polygraphs. I would be in Las Vegas, Nevada, with a showgirl under each arm and 2 shows a day. I would be having steak with Penn and Teller. But I'm not a mind reader. I'm just a lowly polygraph examiner and private investigator that's trying to help you get through your problem. And the best way I can tell you to get through your problem is simple honesty. It sounds simple, I know, and it's harder than it sounds. But that's what you're going to have to do. Because whatever's causing you stress, it ain't going away anytime soon. The best way to lower that stress level significantly is honesty. And hopefully you'll run into a polygraph examiner that wants that win for you just as bad as you want that win for yourself. It'll all work out. It'll all work out. Even if you never get a job in law enforcement, which is obviously something that you really wanted. I wanted to be a Marine. Unfortunately, asthma kept me out of the game. Well, now I get to serve my country in a far different way. And I love what I do. And I'm glad that it turned up that I didn't get accepted into the Marine Corps, because I wouldn't. I'm not sure if I would have gotten here if I had. I'm pretty sure I'd be in a whole different place. Sometimes life just works out like that, dude. So maybe law enforcement might not be the thing, but maybe I might be wrong. Maybe law enforcement is the thing. But if law enforcement is the thing for you, you need to be completely honest with the polygraph examiner. Because most positions, especially federal positions, there's going to be polygraph involved. The best advice I can give you is just go limp. Let it happen. Tell them everything and see how well that does for you. All right? If you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm happy to try to answer them as best as I possibly can for everybody. And I hope that maybe I've helped you out through this in some way or another. Because really, that's why I'm here. I'm here to be helpful. I don't want to be hurtful. I want to be helpful. So, I hope that this was good advice. If it wasn't good enough advice for you, I'm sorry, but it's the advice I got. So have a good one, and remember, St. Patty's Day is right around the corner. So have a good one.